Time, fresh out of prison type time, the mind frame of getting the M on it. Had the mind frame of staying free, ain't it? Had the mind frame of I'ma do me, ain't it? Gotta get back to that I'ma do me mind frame, you feel me? And just do me. But me and Milkman, Mr. Milk Taxi, splashing in the fishbowl, coming back at you with another episode. And on today's episode, slob on the knob, black corn on the cob. Girl, do your job. Slob on the knob, corn on the cob. Girl, do your job. Appreciate all you subscribers, old subscribers, new subscribers, returning subscribers. If you ain't subscribed, go on and subscribe. We working on getting that 100K subscriber plaque from YouTube. That's a fact, chat. So if you need a subscriber, just go up under one of my other videos and put that you subscribe. If you watching this on the replay, you can put it up under this video. I should see it. But yeah. Just keep it to the tune. We're gonna get right into this freaky ass freak book that I'm listening to. Listening to a little freak book. A little freak put me up on a little freak book. So that's what we've been vibing to, the little freak book. You know what I'm saying? What is called some freak shit. Called some freak shit. You hear me? Get back to my story, man.
Was very friendly.
I let y'all when we stop. We'll read when we stop.
There was something.
Probably not gonna stop till we see food.
Marcus was a different case.
I got a back.
When he greeted Billy, he bowed slightly from the hip and kissed the back of her hand. Six. Paul got off the bus and adjusted his backpack. He hated taking the long ride from Harlem to Long Island. 6. 5. The sun had dipped below the shoreline of the Hudson River, bringing the temperature down with it. But that still didn't stop the action on the busy streets of Harlem. The popular avenues, such as Lenox, 7th, 8th, were still buzzing with people and police. The Beast always patrolled Harlem in the summer, like tourists on 4.
I had lost my
that
spot.
old married nigga that Reese is fucking.
There we go.
Billy replied. Dean frowned. Married? Does the bullshit ever end? I'm about to call Reese and let her know what the hell this snake is up to, Billy said, pulling out her phone. That might have to wait. She's got her hands full right now. Jean pointed across the street. Billy looked over by the liquor store where a small crowd was gathering, and all she could say was, damn. When Rhonda and Reese got across the Ave, Paul was standing by a tricked-out caddy, talking to Ice and 2 of his girls. Her anger immediately welled up.
If y'all new subscribers, I appreciate you. You returning subscribers, I appreciate you. Your old subscribers, you know you OG in the game. My YouTube family, I appreciate y'all. If you ain't subscribed, go on and subscribe. Hit that like button. I usually be on here reading. I'm trying to find somewhere to grab some food and do the reading at the same time, so y'all bear with me. In the meantime, we listening to this freaky ass story. Yeah.
But they never could sit horses. Sup? He said, uninterested. Shit, hello to you too. She stepped right into his and Isis's space, disregarding the conversation they were having. You ain't gonna introduce your baby mama to your little friends, Paul? Ain't nobody here that you got a reason to meet, Rhonda. I'll get with you in a little while. Paul turned his back on her and tried to resume his conversation with Black Ice. Nigga, don't be trying to style on me for these hoes. Rhonda raised her voice. These Harlem bitches got me fucked up. Passion spoke up. She was another of Ice's hoes who was present. Who is this little black bitch talking to? If the dick fits in your mouth, suck it, bitch. Reese spat. Oh, I got your bitch right here, Passion said, advancing on Reese. Passion was about 5'11" and weighed 170-something, so it took the combined efforts of Ice and one of his other women to hold her back. Why don't y'all go somewhere with... Why don't y'all go somewhere with that shit? Paul said, stepping between the warring parties. Fuck you, Paul. That bitch shouldn't have come...
What's up, my boy?
Rhonda shouted.
Yeah, I'm trying to find somewhere to park, man, so we can get the...
Paul turned to Ice.
Get the reading going, man. I gotta find somewhere safe and something to eat first.
Ain't nothing, baby. We're all gentlemen here. Ice brushed his shoulder off. Paul looked at Rhonda and had to restrain himself from saying something vicious to her. Instead, he tapped Larry and motioned for them to keep moving. He got about 3 feet, and Rhonda was right on his heels. Nigga, don't be walking away from me. She ran up on him. Rhonda, I ain't trying to do this with you. Just leave me alone. See, that's your problem. Why don't
We fight.
Play it
I don't know why they be...
But she wouldn't have. Rhonda grabbed him by the neckline.
Give me my guy, get with you, man. Give me a minute.
Don't walk away from me. Using both hands, she tore Paul's shirt clean off his back. The whole corner roared with laughter. Paul looked like a complete ass, standing there in his tank top with strips of his shirt hanging off him. Rhonda stood there smiling, but her face went slack when she saw the fire raging in his eyes. As quick as lightning, Paul slapped the shit out of Rhonda. She spun around twice and collapsed, holding her cheek. Bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'll murder your chicken head ass out here, he bellowed. He tried to move in for the kill, but Larry grabbed him about wrist. Be easy, my nigga, Larry whispered in his ear. Fuck that, Larry. I'm tired of this bitch. That's my cue to leave, I said, shooing his women back into the car. I'll get with you, Cat Daddy. I don't need this kind of heat. Ice hopped into his caddy and spun off. Nigga, why you hit her like that? Reese jumped in Paul's face. When she saw the madness in his eyes, she backed up. Fuck you, Paul! Rhonda screamed, while Reese tried to help her up. That's the last time you're gonna put your fucking hands on me. I'm taking PJ and leaving. You ain't never gonna see your seed, motherfucker. You threw me, bitch? Paul struggled against Larry's grip, but he held fast. Reese, why don't you take your friend and get up out of here? Larry pleaded. Fuck that. He shouldn't have hit her. That's all right, nigga. You gonna get yours, Rhonda threatened, wiping her clothes off. Get whoever you want, bitch. When I'm done with him, I'm gonna put something hot in your ass. Paul snarled. Watch your mouth, kid. There are people out here, Larry warned. He looked up the block and saw 2 uniformed cops making their way through the crowd. Time to go. He tapped Paul and nodded up the block. Paul was angry, but he wasn't stupid. The 2 of them made hurried steps across the street and disappeared into the projects. What the fuck was that all about? Billy asked. Paul clocked her again, Yoshi volunteered. What the fuck set him off? Billy handed Rhonda a paper towel. Yo, I was just going to the liquor store and this nigga started spazzing, Rhonda lied. He was out there trying to stunt for Larry and that pimp-ass nigga Ice. If I was you, I'd call the police on that motherfucker, Reese said. I wouldn't have no nigga putting his hands on me. Reese, why don't you stop instigating? Billy said. You wasn't talking that shit when Bone used to put his foot up your ass. Fuck you, Billy, this ain't about me. You know damn well Rhonda and Paul will be fighting today and friends tomorrow. Don't try to add fire to the shit. Nah, I ain't gonna call the police, but I'm gonna fix that nigga. Rhonda plotted. Paul is gonna learn just what kind of bitch his baby mama is. Fire. The sun had dipped below the shoreline of the Hudson River, bringing the temperature down with it. But that still didn't stop the action on the busy streets of Harlem. The popular avenues, such as Lenox, 7th, 8th, were still buzzing with people and police. The Beast always patrolled Harlem in the summer, like tourists on the boardwalk, trying to catch somebody dirty or harass someone minding their own business in search of the all-demanding quota set forth by the mayor and his henchmen. On the side of the bodega on 142nd and Lenox, a group of young men stood around shooting dice. Open containers sat on the ground and atop cars, with the sweet smell of weed smoke lingering like an unseasonable fog. Though all the players wore smiles and laughed good-naturedly, there was plenty of larceny present, each man wanting to relieve the others of whatever cash, or in some cases, jewels that they were willing to pay for. A few buildings over sat the governing chickenhead council of those parts, doing what they did best, killing time. Yoshi, Rhonda, and Reese sat on the stoop of a slightly dilapidated building, drinking cognac from foam cups and swapping stories with some of the locals. The excitement of that afternoon had come and gone, giving way to the anticipation of what the night might bring. If you played the hood long enough, you were bound to see something noteworthy. Yo, my ass is sore as hell from riding that motorcycle all day, Yoshi said, massaging her thighs. Either that, or letting Scooter pound you in your shitbox. Reese snickered. Fuck you, Reese. You always got some slick shit to say. Don't act like you ain't never taken in the ass, bitch. That was only once, and I didn't like it, ho. Reese lied. Truth be told, she took it in the ass from time to time, depending on whom she was with and what she thought the act could get her. Reese knew that she wasn't as pretty as Yoshi or Billy, and hardly as cunning as Rhonda, so she had to get it however she could. Young men traded stories about her on a regular basis, but she chalked it up as taking one for the team. Where the hell is Billy? Rhonda asked, taking a huge gulp of her drink. The liquor caused her eyes to water, but she held it like a true soldier. Rhonda could outdrink all of her girls and a few guys they knew. She was supposed to be dropping Jean off downtown and coming right back, Yoshi said. They're probably somewhere licking each other's asses, Reese said scornfully. Yo, y'all really think Billy get down like that? Yoshi asked. I wouldn't be surprised, Rhonda answered. She sure as hell dresses like a dyke. When is the last time you seen her slide with somebody or heard about a nigga hitting that? I ain't seen Billy with a dude since Saul, God bless, Reese said. She ain't been the same since that nigga got killed, Yoshi recalled. Saul had been a local knucklehead who they had gone to school with. He fashioned himself a pretty boy, and his mind was constantly on his paper. He and Billy had hooked up during high school and had a romance straight out of a music video. They could often be seen hugged up on the block or shooting hoops in the park. One night after Saul had dropped Billy off in the projects, some stick-up kids approached him and demanded his chain. Saul, being a true soldier, refused to part with the showpiece. For his insolence, they put 2 in his melon and took it anyway. Billy wore black for damn near 6 months. She hadn't been quite the same. These Harlem niggas ain't nothing but trouble. Reese shook her head. Speaking of trouble, Rhonda nodded up the block, but freshly shaped up around the edges. He had a confident swagger and murderous eyes. Young Ja was the type of kid who your parents warned you never to bring home. You?
Back at it
Yoshi
again.
looked up at him.
I don't know what he got going on.
So I've heard. He smiled. What y'all doing? Sipping on something light? Rhonda showed him the bottle. Poppin', Rhonda. How's my nephew? Bad as hell. Between him and your stupid-ass brother, I can't even get my mind right. I heard y'all got into it earlier. Ja placed a Nike on the stool. This nigga be on some bullshit, yo. All I was trying to do was have an adult conversation with him, and he starts flipping out. Ja just looked at her. He knew his brother, and he knew Rhonda. He had seen them go through the motions for years. Rhonda would do or say something stupid, and Paul would lose his temper. They would go through it at least once a month. Ja didn't think it was right for his brother to put his hands on Rhonda, but you'd have to know Rhonda to understand him. She knew all the right buttons to push to get a rise out of him, and did it on a regular basis. Her theory was, as long as his attention was on her instead of anything or anyone else, she was happy, even if it meant slapping her ass around. Women like her were under the misconception that if a man didn't knock her upside the head every so often, they were either weak or didn't care. Anyway, Ja waved Rhonda off. What y'all sipping on? A little Henny? Yoshi raised her glass as if toasting the air. Let your boy get a little of that. Ja reached for the empty cup that was sitting on top of the bottle. Nigga, please. Reese snatched the bottle away. You hustle. Go cop a bottle. We chipped in for this. Word? A nigga can't get a drink? Ja screwed up his face. Reese, stop acting like that. Yoshi snatched the bottle from Reese and handed it to Ja. You know Ja is people's. Yeah, my little brother done came through and got us right plenty of times. Rhonda added. Reese sucked her teeth, but knew better than to say anything to Ja. Even though he was young, Paul's baby brother was one of the hood's most dangerous cats. Ja poured a shot into his cup and toasted Rhonda and Yoshi. Reese raised her glass, but he ignored her. Turning the cup upside down, he downed the fiery liquor. He made a funny face, then tossed his empty cup into the street. What you know about that dog, nigga? Rhonda laughed. Ja wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. I don't know how y'all can drink this shit 24/7. Give me a nice cold 40 and I'm good. This here's for grown folks, Reese said, swirling ice strips around in her cup. What the fuck are you doing with me? Ja spat, drawing snickers from the people. Reese just rolled her eyes. A lot of people couldn't understand why Reese didn't like Ja, but they knew just what the beef between them was. The previous summer, Reese found herself at the ass end of a crush on an older cat from the neighborhood. He wasn't known as one of the more high-profile cats, but he kept himself fresh and had a nice ride. More importantly, he carried himself like a gentleman more often than not. After some coaxing, Reese found herself in the staircase of the projects hitting her head. Ja happened to be coming down the stairs and busted her. He demanded that Reese bless him too, but she refused. Ja, being young and still having that mentality, went and ran his mouth. Unfortunately, the word got back to the kid who was claiming Reese as his shorty. Needless to say, the relationship ended badly. Reese had cursed Ja as a big-mouth little boy, and things hadn't been the same since.
Fucking light ain't lighting up. What the hell?
Ja, I know you hold it. Put it in the air. Rhonda tapped his pocket. She knew Ja was a notorious pothead, and could often be found holding some of the best weed in town. You know how I do it? He said, pulling out an already rolled white owl. This that shit right here. He dangled the blunt in front of Rhonda and snatched it back when she reached for it. Easy, shorty. We about to get sky high off that diesel. Damn, nigga. That shit is hard as hell to score. Ja, how come you always seem to get your hands on shit that no one else can? Yoshi asked. Ja gave her a perfect smile, equipped with dimples. It pays to know somebody who knows somebody. Ja get you what you need, boo. Nigga, stop trying to mac and light the weed. Rhonda broke the mood. The four of them sat on the stoop, passing the blunt of quote weed and talking shit. Though Ja was definitely gangster with his, when he was in good spirits, he was a funny dude. Even Reese managed to unscrew her face and laugh at some of the off-the-wall shit he said. The strange thing about weed is its ability to bring people together. If you got high enough in the right company, you could forget what you were pissed about in the first place. At least until you came down. When the blunt was about 3/4 of the way done, Ja's eyes took on a funny glare. He was fixed on the dice game as if he was just noticing it. Yoshi and Reese seemed oblivious to it, but Rhonda knew what time it was. He was steaming. I'm about to get up out of here, he said, stepping off the stoop. Here you go on your bullshit already, Rhonda said. Nah, I'm just going to see if I can come up right quick, he said oh so innocently. With his small frame and funny voice, Josh seemed harmless enough, but he was full of shit. Rhonda knew he was about as harmless as a baby viper. Bidding the ladies goodbye, Ja bopped toward the corner. That nigga is always scheming, Reese said when he was out of earshot. You know how he do it, Rhonda said. That little nigga can get it, Yoshi added. Rhonda and Reese both looked at her as if they had heard wrong. What y'all looking at me like that for? He can get it. Yoshi, you need to quit. You know that little boy ain't even in your league, Rhonda said. Yeah, I know, but I might still fuck him one day. There's something about that little badass motherfucker that turns me on. Yoshi's observation of Ja was broken up by the heavy bass of a car stereo. A red Hummer coasted slowly down the block, rattling windows in its wake. The windows were tinted so heavy that you couldn't see who was in the ride. The girls didn't need X-ray vision to recognize one of the hood's most infamous stars, Don B. Don B's was a true rags to riches story. He was born and raised in the Drew Hamilton projects on the 8th Avenue side. As a youth, he had distributed more cocaine and slugs to niggas on the street than the police. Over the years, he had been shot 7 times, stabbed twice, and even strangled while he was locked up. Through it all, he had managed to deny the Grim Reaper his due, time and again. People would always joke that with all the shit he had lived through, God must have put him on Earth for a purpose. The running joke had come to reality when his record label, Dog Food Entertainment, managed to secure a multi-million-dollar distribution deal with Sony. Don B had 2 singles on the Billboard charts and was fast on his way to becoming a star. Now there's a nigga who can get it. Rhonda licked her lips. Don B might not be the handsomest motherfucker, but his money is way long. Reese sucked her teeth. He ain't all that. Bitch, stop acting like you wouldn't fuck him. All he'd have to do is drop a few dollars on you and say the word, and you'd probably suck his whole squad off. Rhonda, you must be fucking crazy. There's no way in hell I'd suck his whole team off for no paper. Maybe him and his right-hand man, though. The 3 of them burst out laughing. Their jovial moment was shattered when shouting reached the stoop. They turned their attention back to the dice game just in time to see Ja pull his hammer and blast some kid in the chest. While the rest took cover, Ja snatched the money off the floor and vanished. Reese just shook her head. I told you he's always on some bullshit. 40 minutes after the shooting, the police escorted an ambulance through the cramped block to load the wounded man and cart him off to the hospital. They tried asking anyone if they had seen or heard anything, but only drew blank stares. Figuring it'd be easier to talk to a female than it had been a male, the two uniformed officers walked over to where Rhonda and her friends were sitting. "Evening, ladies," the dark-skinned cop said, tipping his hat. "We were wondering if we could ask you a few questions." "We ain't seen shit," Yoshi began. "Ain't heard shit," Reese picked up. "Don't know shit," Ron finished it off. "How the hell do you girls expect us to do our jobs when no one wants to help out?" The white cop asked. "The only way we can protect these neighborhoods is to get these animals off the streets." "Your job," Rhonda chuckled. "That the funniest shit I heard all day. The only time you motherfuckers even come through this block is to harass niggas and collect bribes. Fuck out of here with that job shit." "You better watch your mouth, miss," the black cop said. "And you better watch your ass, Tom," Reese added. "How the fuck can you sleep with yourself knowing that the people you work with don't give a fuck about the people you live with? That shit ain't never made sense to me." "Listen, sis," the black cop began, switching up his tone to make himself sound more down. "Ain't nobody trying to give you a hard time. We just want to catch the punk motherfucker that popped Shorty. Now, we know y'all be on this stoop 24/7, so don't act like you don't know what happened." The dark-skinned cop kept his face serious and his eyes sincere. He talked a good one about wanting to protect the neighborhood, but all he really wanted was a gold shield and possibly some sergeant's bars. He looked at Rhonda's face and seeing her bottom lip begin to quiver, he thought he might have been making some progress. That all changed when she doubled over laughing. "You hear this nigga?" she asked Yoshi, slapping her on her exposed thigh. "If I didn't know any better, I might have taken this motherfucker seriously." "Nah," she said, turning back to the cop. "We don't know nothing." "You know we could run you in for obstruction of justice." "Yeah, and spend all night doing paperwork," Yoshi said. "Why don't y'all take that stupid shit down the block? Maybe one of them bum-ass bitches from 7th will tell you what you need to know for a case of Pampers." Yoshi clutched her stomach, laughing at her own joke. The white cop wanted to slap the pretty light-skinned girl to the ground and throw his dick in her mouth to see how funny she thought that was, but there were too many people watching. "Come on, Ed." He tapped his partner and started back in the direction of the squad car. Before getting in, he had one last jewel to drop. "You know, one day you might need to call on the law, and you better pray to God I ain't the one to answer the call, bitch." "Go lick out your mama's ass," Rhonda shouted. "Remember Louima," Yoshi added. They stood there, ranking on the cops until they had finally cleared off the block. No sooner than they pulled off, Teddy's Benz came creeping down the block. "Look what the fuck the cat dragged in." Rhonda nodded toward the car. "Ain't that the fat Gerald Levert looking nigga you fuck with?" Yoshi asked Reese. "Yeah, that's that nigga," Reese said, fronting like she didn't want to hop off the stoop and run to the car. "Let me see what the fuck this nigga wants." Reese slowly made her way in the direction of the Benz. Teddy pulled up by the fire hydrant and kept the engine running. Usually, he would have hopped out to holler at her, but this time he chose to stay in the car, only making Reese angrier. "Oh, that's the kind of shit you want, Ted?" She barked, but got no answer. "Fuck do I look like?" The rest of Reese's sentence died in her throat as the tinted window rolled down, and it wasn't Teddy behind the wheel, but his wife, Penny. Not really sure what to do, Reese paused. As Reese stood there trying to figure out what her next move should be, a soda bottle came flying out of the car window. Being that Penny was sitting, making the throw an awkward one, Reese was able to sidestep the bottle. When the glass hit the ground, Reese smelled that it wasn't soda or beer in the bottle, but bleach. "Stay away from my husband, you fucking hood rat!" Penny shouted before peeling through the red light. 6. Paul got off the bus and adjusted his backpack. He hated taking the long ride from Harlem to Long Island City, Queens, but it was a necessary evil. After hitting the corner bodega for a 6-pack of Corona and a Dutch Master, he began his 9-block hike. He could have stayed on the bus for another 10 minutes and gotten off closer to his destination, but Paul enjoyed walking. It allowed him to clear his mind and take in the feel of the area. During his walk, he observed the sights and sounds of the foreign land and couldn't help but think how different Queens was from any other borough. Though Queens was a part of New York City, it was only so in name. It lacked the grittiness of Brooklyn or the historical feel of Harlem. The bowels of Queens were more or less like the neighborhoods of any other city. But the further out you went, the more it was like being in the suburbs.
You got it, love. You got it.
Marlene owned a 3-bedroom brick house in Long Island City. He walked through the little iron fence and up the driveway to the varnished front door. After taking a moment to listen, he let himself in. On the outside, it didn't look much different than the other half-dozen houses on the block, but the inside was lazy. Big screen televisions, marble floors. Marlene had gone all out with the decor. He placed his bag by the front door and removed his shoes. Marlene had this thing about tracking up the floors and was quick to bark on violators of the no shoes rule. Descending the few steps past the foyer, he made his way to the kitchen. Everything in the kitchen was steel, giving it a hospital cafeteria feel. Taking a beer from the box, he placed the other 5 in the refrigerator and headed into the living room. The dim lights shining on the white furniture highlighted the fabrics and specks of gold. The 50-inch television was on CNN, but the sound was weak. Crossing the plush living room and passing through the glass doors, Paul entered what Marlene liked to call her sanctuary. It consisted of a desk, a small television, and an entertainment system. The soft sounds of Faith Evans hummed through the speakers as he passed them. Jasmine filled the air with a hint of chronic underlying. As soon as he smelled it, he knew what time it was. Marlene only smoked when she was stressed. On the Italian leather recliner, dressed in a bathrobe, with her hair freshly wrapped, sat the lady of the house. Her copper skin glowed under the light of the candles, which were the source of the jasmine fragrance in the air. She was sitting with one leg dangling over the side of the recliner, and the other propped to expose just enough of her shapely thigh to cause a slight bulge in Paul's jeans. Though she rarely ate meat anymore, she had an ass and hips that could have only been born of pork. Marlene was fine as wine, and twice as sweet and gentle. She and Paul had met right after he was released from prison. He had been picked up for having weed on him, and she was the public defender assigned to his case. The prosecutor wanted to send Paul back to jail on a parole violation, but Marlene convinced him otherwise. Since the police had illegally searched Paul and whipped his ass in the process, she threatened to go public with it. After what had happened with Louima and Diallo, the city didn't need any more bad press. The charge was knocked down to a misdemeanor and a fine. Paul was so grateful that he offered to take Marlene to dinner as a way of thanking her, since he didn't have to pay for her services. Normally, Marlene wouldn't have dreamed of dating a client, but there was something about Paul that moved her. He had a thug's exterior with the poise of a true gentleman. As Marlene got to know the man behind the case file, she found herself falling for him. Nearly 2 years later, she found herself a star defense attorney for a high-profile firm, and madly in love with the man she'd saved. Paul crept silently over to the recliner. Marlene had her head back and her eyes closed, but he knew she wasn't asleep. She was probably just waiting for him to take the initiative, as usual. Marlene often subjected Paul to these subtle tests. He didn't know if it was to piss him off or because she was really that insecure. Whatever the case, Paul dealt with it. Leaning over the back of the recliner, Paul placed a kiss on her heart-shaped lips. She cracked a smile and kissed him back. Her lips tasted like honey, and her breath smelled of mints. Yes, Paul was truly a lucky man. "I missed you," she said, casting her soft brown eyes up at him. He snaked over the arm of the chair and sat beside her. "I missed you too, sweetheart." Paul took the joint from the ashtray on the end of the table and lit it. After taking 2 long totes, he handed it to Marlene. "So, how was your day, counselor?" She expelled a thin puff of smoke. "Jesus, I don't even know where to begin. We got a case today involving a young man who had been accused of murdering another guy with some drugs. When I questioned him, he admitted to shooting the other boy, but claims it was in self-defense. He and the other boy were arguing over who had the right to hustle in the corner. Things got a little heated, and he reached inside his jacket. That's when my client shot him." "Hey, was the other kid strapped?" Paul asked. "Yeah, they found a gun on him." "So what's the big deal? Jody was just trying to protect himself." "Yes, it's easy to look at it like that on the streets, but in a court of law, it's a whole different ballgame. To them, it's not a boy trying to protect himself. It's a drug-related shooting. If I can't convince them otherwise, they're gonna try and fry that kid." "Sucks to be you," Paul said offhandedly. Marlene got up from the recliner so fast that she almost knocked Paul on the floor. "I don't see the joke, Paul. There's a young man's life at stake here." "Come on, Ma. You know I didn't mean it like that. All I'm saying is, you and I know how it can be in the hood, but these crackers that run the show ain't got a fucking clue. Now what if your client hadn't hesitated? He'd probably be deader than all hell, and it'd be the other boy who got prosecuted. It's like you can't win with these pricks." "You're telling me." She walked over to the entertainment system and switched the CD. Life Jennings's Must Be Nice replaced the First Lady of Bad Boy.
Must be nice.
Sometimes I wonder what the fucking point is. Who knows, maybe Monday morning I'll just go in and quit. Who the fuck are you kidding? Paul swigged his beer. You love your job too much. Besides, if you were to quit, how would you keep up the mortgage on this little mansion here? He looked around the room. I'd manage. I've got some money tucked away for a rainy day, and I could do legal consulting. Besides, you'd take care of me, wouldn't you? Of course I would. I ain't got much, baby, but whatever I have is yours, he said seriously. You're my beginning and my end. Whatever you need, you have but to ask. Glad you feel that way, Paul. So when are we moving in together? Damn, walked right into that one. He thought to himself. Come on, Marlene. Come on. Are we going somewhere? She asked sarcastically. You know what I mean, he said, pulling the wastebasket to rest between his feet while he split the Dutch open. Why do we have to go into this man? When Marlene didn't move, she knew she had him on the ropes. Whenever Paul didn't want to answer something honestly, or couldn't think of a politically correct response, his hands started moving. Normally, he would start sketching or mixing paints, but he didn't have either within arm's reach. The blunt would be his buffer. Paul, how come every time I want to talk about something that's important to me, you don't? She moved to stand in front of him. Even sitting, he almost reached her 5'2". You make me feel like the things that move me aren't important to you. You know it's not like that with me, Mom. Of course the things that are important to you are important to me. He tried to reach out and pull her closer, but she stepped out of reach. She fixed her eyes directly on his to make sure she had his undivided attention. You don't act like it. Paul, let's keep it funky. She began, which bothered him because she rarely used improper English. We've been together for a while now, and what have we accomplished? He put the finishing touches on his blunt and glared up at her as if she defended him. What the hell is that supposed to mean? You left the city and went with a private firm with more perks, and I've given up scamming to go legit. I know I haven't sold a painting yet, but I'm creating a buzz. Soon it'll be on and popping. Paul, I think you've misunderstood me, she said seriously. Both of us have accomplished a great deal of noteworthy things individually, but what have we done together? He responded by lighting the blunt. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. She threw her hands up. I say things to you and they go over your head. Marlene. He exhaled the smoke. You ain't gotta be yelling. I can hear you just fine from here. Sometimes it seems like that's the only way to get a reaction out of you. Do I have to scream like a fool for you to understand that I love you? She asked, eyes threatening rain. Paul felt that familiar tug at his heart, telling him to be more attentive. It is often said that artistic people live in a world unto themselves, and whoever came up with that observation must have shared a room with Paul as a child. He could articulate himself through art with an almost magical fluidity, but saying exactly what was on his mind was like a circus trick. His mind said one thing, but his words and actions mispronounced the verses. More often than not, he chose silence as his defense. He fought back his sharp retort and decided to beg. Marlene, I know you want to do it real official with it, baby, but it's gonna be some time. I want to be able to take care of my family on the constant basis, not in spurts. Sweetie, you know it's never been about money with me, she said, taking the blunt from him and sipping from the stream of smoke trailing it. I did it before you and during. You know I'll go out and get it without coaching. It's just that, more often than not, I'm lonely. I know. He stood and kissed her on the forehead. Soon as I sell one of these joints, I promise. He tapped her once more on the tip of her nose and left the sanctuary. Marlene watched him leave, dangling his half-empty Corona. Even while upset with him, she couldn't deny the fact that there was a sex appeal to him in an innocent yet wicked way. Marlene, who would be turning 40 the following month, was more settled and focused on what she wanted from life and what she was going to make it give her. When she had first discovered the young felon, she knew he was something special. He was still really a little boy, yet with grown people's responsibilities. The gangster part about it was that he was handling it. She could recall countless stories about her friends, baby daddies, and them dipping out on the kid. Paul handled his with a high hand. Even though his baby's mama was a royal king, he kept the bond with his seed strong. That was rare in this day and age. Paul was damn near perfect, except for his reluctance to let go of his past. He had more than a great deal of potential, but no one to give him that extra bit of direction. That's where Marlene came in. She had already resigned herself to the fact that he could cop or blow. 7.
Almost there, y'all.
It was
Almost
1 a.m.
there,
and Billy still hadn't gone back to join her homegirls. On her way to drop Jean off, Jean convinced her to make a stop at Mount Morris Park. Some people she knew were supposed to be having a big barbecue for a homie that just touched down from doing a bullet. Billy wasn't in too much of a hurry to get back to her friends and their stoop antics, so she agreed to stop through for a few minutes. The next thing she knew, almost 2 hours had passed. The hosts of the event had been more than generous with the entertainment for the night. There were gallons of liquor and at least a half-pound of weed floating around the park. It seemed like every time Billy handed one blunt off, another one was being passed to her. Billy had considered calling her girls to invite them to the event, but didn't feel like hearing their mouths. It was mostly a bold and queer event, and she knew their homophobic asses wouldn't have been comfortable. Sometime during the event, a trio came through. The first girl was cute, but hardly as attractive as the other two. She wore pleated linen pants and a sleeveless blouse beneath the linen jacket. The second girl was beautiful, with golden skin and cat-like green eyes. She had a Dominican look about her, but Billy wasn't absolutely sure. Her eyes were partially slanted on her doll-like face, with a crown of auburn curls atop her head. The third member of the party was so handsome that he danced on the line of being pretty. The young man wore a silk shirt, unbuttoned at the top, showing off his well-built chest. His skin was the color of milk chocolate, and when he smiled, perfect white teeth flashed in the moonlight. Jean introduced the trio to Billy as Rose, Kat, and Marcus. Rose nodded, but didn't bother to extend her hand in greeting. Kat, on the other hand, very friendly, holding on to
they know how to cook. It's in the truck stop, but hopefully they know how to
his
cook.
lips made contact with her skin.
I'm definitely
felt
freaking
a chill
hungry. Hopefully
snake
they
up the
open.
back. She watched the
I'm
trio from a
freaking
distance for
starving.
some time, trying to figure out what the connection was between them. At first, she thought that the girls and Marcus were gay, but something about the way he moved made her think differently. He had a charming effect on all the ladies, even the gay ones, and the two girls he was with hung on every word he said, especially Kat. On several
Alright, y'all, let's
occasions,
go see
Billy
what they
caught
steak be
tension
by.
brief and running her
See if they got some
through
good
his
steak
long
out of
braided hair.
BS.
From what she gathered, Marcus
This
belonged
what
to
we
her,
at tonight, so this
or
what we
vice
eating
versa.
tonight.
She looked over at
Understand
the
me?
striking
This what
young
we
man
finna
from
eat
time to
tonight.
time, but didn't allow her
Hopefully
eyes
we
to
can
linger
catch
too
us a
long.
cell or two in there.
She knew how territorial women
So
could
we
be about
definitely
their
own
men,
that.
and didn't want to cause any problems at the barbecue.
Product is going everywhere we
Nonetheless,
going.
something about Marcus.
Damn, man, I want to stick my girl so
Billy was
bad.
posted up off
Oh
to the
my
side,
gosh, this
smoking
girl
a
is playing
clip
with
and
me.
sipping a Guinness when
Need
Kat
to put
approached
something
her.
in her.
As the night went
Fucking
on,
chicken dinner.
they're branching off to fruit. She
Where's
slithered
my
over
girl? I need to
the
put
linen
something in her.
thigh-high boots,
Chicken
wearing a
dinner.
smirk,
I
as
need
if
to
she
put
had a
something
secret
in
that
her.
she wasn't going to share.
Hey, y'all
Kat
coming with
made
me.
it
I
a
was
point
finna
to
leave y'all
occupy
in here.
Billy's
Y'all coming with me,
vicinity,
though.
but not quite her space. Billy felt like she was being stalked, but she didn't let Kat know she was uncomfortable. She kept tapping her foot, mouthing along with the Don B song blasting from someone's speakers. Billy turned around and was surprised to find Kat staring at her. For a long while, there was just silence, with both of them staring. Finally, Kat said something. "I hope I don't sound too thirsty, but do you
You already know out your slide, man.
Kat said, eyeing her hungrily. "Excuse me?" Billy shot back. "The blunt." Kat smirked. "Oh, you thought I meant..." "Sorry," Billy said, a little embarrassed. She passed the blunt to Kat and watched her take deep, sensual pulls. "It's fine. I'll bet you've had a lot of girls come on to you today," Kat said in a matter-of-fact tone. "What makes you say that?"
Cat trying to get that cat. Little gay ass. She trying to get us some cat. Nah, that make me feel crazy though. Midwest. I'm going to the Midwest right now. That make me feel crazy though, man. For real. I see you 2 days. 2 days in a fucking row. And no action. I feel disrespected. I feel fucking disrespected and rejected. I feel disrespected and rejected. Matter of fact, that wasn't 2 days. That was like 3 days, and you ain't give me nothing. I feel disrespected and rejected for real. How you? I'm in your face for 3 days and I don't get me nothing. What the fuck? Oh, you really trying to let me know it's over, honey? You ain't playing no game. You really trying to? Oh, that must be a lot lizard right there. She gonna be moving around a couple angles here. Said, damn, since I pulled in the park, I seen over here, over there. Girl, you moving quick, ain't you? It's starting to get chilly out here, and I done put on these damn shorts. Left all my damn jackets. I'm tripping. Starting to get chilly, y'all. And I done left my shorts. I done left my jackets. And I got fucking shorts. I got freaking shorts on, man. This is amazing. Make sure I got my keys. So we don't want to be. Got keys, all that. We got all that good shit, and we ain't get the wallet. Can't do nothing without the wallet. Woo! Well, this shit is chilly. Hold on, I gotta grab that other jacket and go with the outfit. This shit is cold out here. I didn't know it was that cold out there. Oh man, I just thought about that shit, dog. I was home for down there 3 days. I was home for down there 3 days and ain't get no love from my girl. No love at all. She don't love me no more, y'all. It's a wrap. She don't love me no more. I think that's the thing that's really killing me. She about to leave the water again. I think that's what's killing me more than anything, guys. The fact that I don't feel no love from this girl after all these years, that's what's killing me the worst. I don't feel no love. You talking about a cold shoulder. Hell nah, that shit is iceberg when I come around. I don't get no love. She give another nigga all my love. That's fucked up. Smiling with that nigga. Happy with that nigga. Alright, let me find something to make me happy. I need to make a sale. That'll make me happy. More sales. Oh man. As soon as I start thinking about food and that love shit, and I get sick in the stomach. Like I know I need to eat, right? Them days home and not getting no love, like you ain't show me no love. That's crazy. How you gonna show me no love? What the fuck?
To go. If you go up there, I can take your order. I'll be right back.
Believe it or not, this is a truck stop. I get a menu.
Someone?
Got it. Appreciate it.
They get for you.
So we good. Yeah, this actually is a truck stop. Get us something to eat right quick. I hate when I see bone-in wings and don't see lemon pepper. What the hell? They got fried pickles, spears, fried breaded mushrooms. The mushrooms be good. But for $10, oh, them starters, that's why. But I said I wanted a steak, right? No burgers, we need a steak. Damn, they ribeye steak, $26. Bitch, I like ribeye steaks, man. $26 though, guy. But it says 12 ounces though. Potbelly is a good place to eat. Nah, cause see then the wings is 15. That's why I need a long, but I can get the steak and the wings for about 40. You spend about 30 right here, you don't get nothing but the steak. See what kind of size they got, Charging. They don't even got the whoop, man, mac and cheese. Gotta get a potato. $2 upcharge for the loaded baked potato. So fuck it, we'll try the garlic fries. We're gonna get a loaded baked potato and the garlic fries. We gonna finish this shit. Live once. You only live once on earth. Gotta enjoy it.